So here we go with a 9-ball ladder match between Albuquerque Bill and we'll just call him Keith. That's the first of 7 racks, it's alternate break. That's a bad shot. Big wide open table, hooked himself right behind the 6. Not one of the best jump shots you'll ever see. With ball in hand. Awkward ball, or the only awkward shot's going to be just getting from the 8 to the 9. He's got to make sure he's got the right angle to either draw back or stun off the rail and come down for the 9-ball. Or it looks like he might just be pushing the 8 into that far right corner and then bringing the cue ball off the rail and back up. Let's see the angle he's got. No, he's going to be drawing up. He doesn't want to get an awful lot into this unless he's going to try and come off the side rail, but he's going to try and draw right up to the corner, I think. Yeah, he's played that well. So it's now Keith breaking in rack 2. So the thing about alternate break is it's a bit like tennis, it's a bit like holding your serve. If you're breaking in that rack, you really must win that rack. And especially if you've had first break in a race to 7, it means that as long as you keep holding your break and not losing that rack, then the odds are that you're going to be first over the line. There's good cover there down by the 4 and 7 ball. Although I assume Bill tried to play some sort of combo to get that 5 into the corner there, but he's just left a not too difficult pot in the 2, cue ball round the angles back round for the 3, as long as he doesn't hit the traffic, which he has. It's always the danger with that shot, blocking yourself out. And again, the problem with the jump shots, especially when you're near the rail, is actually controlling the cue ball. You've really got not much control of the cue ball once it's in the air, and that momentum just bounced it off the table. Notice again as well in this break, the 9-ball stayed more or less where it is in the pack. It's only moved a fraction. So now Bill's got a couple up and down shots here to get this table cleared. Problem here is the 9-ball's in his way. He's just going to have to maybe try and use the 9 ball just to hold for the 6. And he stunned it into the 9 ball, whereas he should have just had a bit of top on it and rolled through off the 9 ball. The stun shot wasn't the best shot to play. If he can somehow get this 7 in and get back round for the 8, probably the other side of it if he just plays it slowly. But chosen to leave the long one. Is it going to be a bank? If he plays the bank, he could hold for the 9 just down the rail. But it looks as if it's going to be a cut and the cue ball running to the side. And that's pretty well played. So Bill wins one against the break. A quick 2 rack to 0 lead and breaking the 3rd rack. But, as happens quite a lot now, a dry break. And that was quite a poor safety shot. The one in, off the rail, back out for the 2. Probably leave the 4 into the middle. Make it simple. This really should be 3-0. Although he's left that in the worst possible place on the table you could leave a ball, especially in Virtual Pool 4 where you can't aim under like you can in VP3, but and he's, well, he won't want that to be in the recording. Now, did he use the W key to step back from the shot to get to the butt of the shaft of his cue lined up with that object ball? I don't know. But that's the trick to get the aim angle for these shots when you're playing over a ball. And now that is going to be a rack that got away for Bill. It is. Keith just needs to roll this 9 in and he's going to be back to 2 racks to 1 down with the break. Nine ball stays again more or less where it was, moving a fraction of a couple inches. And dry break and balls are all in the open, and again it's just about joining the dots. Doesn't want to go near that 6 ball. And that's just locked up the 3 for Keith. And he's going to have to pull some sort of miracle shot to not only pot the 2 but get onto this 3 ball or move the 7 or do something. You think he can get to the edge of that 3? I think the jaw of that pocket's just going to block him. Oh no. And Bill doesn't want to leave this 3-4 as a combo. Can he get enough just to cut that across? No. But that's a decent enough safety shot. Full snooker on the 3 ball. Be a kick in the 3 if he gets it right on. He could leave the cue ball there, but he's chipped it. Well, I don't think there'll be much doubt he'll be going for the combo in the 9 here. It isn't set, so he's got to get a sight on that 3 balls where he's got to hit it towards the 9 to make the potting angle. Tough shot. He's got away with it again, but left the jump shot again. Similar problem here. It's still close enough to the rail for this cue ball to be bouncing all over the place. And he managed to keep it on the table, but no shot in the 4. Going to be a kick off the right side rail as we look at it. If he gets this right, oh no, he's going to do 2 rails. Three and 4 rails, that was excellent, and left it safe. Can't ask for much better than that. Now he's gone for the bank, and that's a beautiful shot. Tracking all the way at the pocket, didn't even touch an edge. Very well played. It's going to be tracking towards the 8 ball, but has he drawn it back? No. Rode his luck a bit there, but he's still got a straightforward. Just drop the 7 in. Could roll through a touch, or is he rolling through for the 8 in the left middle? Let's see. Oh dear. That's terrible. That is so bad. He could have just stunned it in, dropped it in, left the 8 into the bottom or the top left as we look at it. But in the roll through, he should never have left himself short. He should have, if anything, he should have overhit it. And that's one that got away again for Bill. Should be 2 all in a minute. Upward angle, so he's probably just going to run it into this corner. Yeah, simple. 2 racks all. 9 ball stays where it was again. 1 ball goes into the top right corner as we look. And he's at least got some sort of shot in the 2. can't help but be on the 4 off this shot. Just a little draw on the ball, take it over towards the 6 ball. This looks a bit straight, but you could sort of, I don't know, maybe he's going round the two rails yet. There was a couple of ways to get onto that 6 ball. This way though is the safest way, you're into an open table. Now again, this should be plain sailing. Just drop the 7 in, line the rail for the 8, nice angle to get out for the 9. Couldn't be any simpler. And that looks pretty good. Just needs a wee bit of right hand English just to come out there off the rail. You see, even then, that amount of English in the ball was still more than enough to get it out there. And the rails, oh dear. Again, that slightly higher angle just puts that little bit of doubt in the mind when you're going for those cut shots. And these jaws, we keep saying it, but if you hit anywhere in the jaw, it's going to have to be pace that takes into the pocket, because these shelves won't let the ball drop, and that's a bad one. That's got away from him there. Yeah, there has been a physics change to the tables. The rails have been made slower, and I believe the skid on the cloth has been reduced as well, in an effort to make positional play a little more easier by getting better control of the cue ball off these rails, slowing the bounce down a bit. So instead of Bill going up 4-2, it's now back to... sorry, Bill going up 3-2, it's Keith that goes up 3-2. We all do the same things. I mean, the consistency in Virtual Pool 4 is the difficult thing to start running racks in 9 ball, because the predictability that you had in VP3 has gone. Guys making breaks and breaking the same way all the time, and the same sort of patterns happening all the time. It just doesn't happen in VP4 now. The only thing I've noticed that is predictable is the 9 ball wanting to stay towards this bottom rail if it doesn't get kicked. And if you break from too close to either rail, you'll find that it kills the pace the ball's going through the pack, so that you actually find that the pack remains there in a sort of cluster, and only a couple of balls break away from the pack. It's weird, but there is a sort of sweet spot where you break the balls from, and then if you go too far beyond that, you end up killing the pace through the pack. It's going to be the combo in the 8 ball. Needs to play this the right pace just to keep that 4 in the direction of the corner pocket. Doesn't want it to bounce out anywhere awkward. And he's played that well. Problem ball's the 6 ball. 5 ball is lying dead on that rail, so he's left himself a nice angle. Now I would want to play this for right English, cut the 5 in off the rail and fire it down here to this corner. The danger, of course, is that, and that was almost a scratch. Now has he covered that 6 ball? He's okay. That shot that he played there was exactly the one I would have played myself, but that's always the danger. You get close to that corner pocket and he could have hooked himself in the jaw, but you've got to take those risks. So there's a 2-rack lead now in favour of Keith. Leads by 4 racks to 2. 9 ball gets kicked this time, and it's kicked into the pocket. So the first golden break in the match. Sorry, that wasn't Keith, that was Bill. Keep forgetting it's alternate break. That's why you've got to keep your eye on the HUD and remember it's alternate break, and then you don't call the wrong shot like I just did. So it's now 4 racks to 3. Golden break couldn't have come at a better time for Bill. I think he's blocked himself out in the 3. He's going to have to maybe bank that in. Let's have a look. Oh no, he managed to get the edge. He's definitely blocked himself out here. Oh, the 8 ball's gone. Here we go. Fun and games are starting now. Might as well bang this one, it's bound to go somewhere. Now there is a good chance here to get on this 5. If he cuts this 4 in and gets round the angles, he could finish somewhere up in the top left hand corner of the table and at least have a shot in the 5. The obvious thing is if he goes too far he'll hook himself with the 7. Or he could bank it up and down. And you'll see there that even if he'd got the 4 he'd still left himself probably 3-4 inches short of where he wanted to get the cue ball. Thinking more in position with the cue ball than actually getting the 4 ball in the pocket and forgot about it. And I think he's set that up for a fairly easy combo. The angle he's having to play this, the 5 ball's going to go to the rail. And, well, I don't think you can argue with that. As long as you've got a shot on the 5 ball, that's all that matters. So now Keith goes into a 5 racks to 3 lead. Bill hoping for another 9 ball break somewhere, but the 9 ball stays down where it wants to again. Although he's got a ball in the break and he's on the 2 ball. In fact, sorry, the 1 ball. The 2 ball looks to be the one that's dropped. Now this table looks easy. Just drop the 1 in. Oh dear, this looks disastrous. Oh, how bad is that? He just needed to drop that in, didn't need any pace on it, and would have had a shot in a 3 ball from anywhere on the table. And Well, this is going to be the story about the one that got away this rack. If it goes the way I think it's going to go. Now this is a good foot short of where it should have been. So just needs to concentrate and cutting the 6 in. Doesn't need to worry about the cue ball. He's going to have a shot in the 7. But again, if you needed any further proof, these pockets just will not accept a ball hit at a pace where it's going to hit one of the jaws. It just won't drop. So Bill has been handed the proverbial lifeline again. And can he take it? Now this is where you just draw this 8 ball in and kill the cue ball, which is more or less what he's done. He's killed the pace on it, got a shot on the 9. It's still a cut, so you've still got to be careful. Well, I'm sure Bill breathed a big sigh of relief there, managed to escape with that one. Gets it back to 5-4, and Keith, however, retaliates with a golden break to take it to 6-4. How the fortunes can change. Slow roll with the 2 onto the 6. So now this angle he's got on the 3, he's going to have traffic getting in his way here. Yep. The angle just wasn't there to get to the rail to get on the 4. There's a chance of getting a safe here behind the 7 and 9 by banking this 4 up towards the 8. It's all about pace though, unless he's going to go for the cut. He goes for the cut. Nice shot, gets the cue ball round behind the 2 balls up on the top of the table and has a shot on the 5. But it goes to the jaw, he scratches in the middle, ball in hand. This could be sayonara, as they say in the Japanese pool halls. Nice draw shot onto the 7. Doesn't need to touch the 9 ball, just draw that cue ball to the rail. Or just roll through, whatever, but drawing it through looks simple. And again, a cut down the rail, so it's about cue ball pace to get it out into the middle of the table to get a shot on the 9. Off one rail, second rail, out into the middle of the table, and they should never miss this. And so Keith wins the match by 7 racks to 4.